Welcome to Tweener Madness, the high-stakes startup showdown where 4 promising startups go head-to-head for a $25,000 investment prize from the NC Tweener Fund. Each episode, founders from 2 companies will step up and pitch their vision to our selection committee. They'll be facing tough questions, defending their business, and making their case on why they deserve to move on to the championship round. With only 2 spots in the final, the pressure is on. This is the Fabulous 4, where only the sharpest startups survive. Now, here's your host, general partner of the NC Tweener Fund, Scott Wingo.
Welcome back to North Carolina Tweener Madness. This is our second matchup of the Fabulous 4. We're going to jump right into it. Back in the first matchup, we introduced our amazing judges, Carly Connell, Zakiya, aka Z, the VC, and Greg Boone. He is Mr. Personality, Mr. Podcast, Mr. Publish, and Mr. something I can't remember that starts with P. And we're going to jump into these. The first 2 were kind of similar. They were B2B and in the AI bucket, even though they were vastly different. We had Ham and kind of dev tech, and we had Utilist and kind of like power tech, green tech, sustainable tech. This time we've got Druid Agriculture, which you could probably guess is ag tech. And then they're from Charlotte, Druid is. And then Marla Amplification, which is a consumer type music tech company out of Asheville. Let's start with Druid.
My company, Druid Agriculture, we build camera systems that allow farmers to remotely manage their crops. They can see what's going on their phone or laptop. Basically, we detect all the issues that your farm has throughout the day, 24/7, so they can be able to know, what their problems are for the day. I was working as a banker, and one day I had a client tell me that we need to grow 70% more food by 2050, or we were headed towards global conflict. And that inspired me to build a vertical farm in Charlotte, and it was extremely challenging. And when I went to talk to farmers about what the challenges were for them, they were telling me they could barely handle it themselves. And so I thought to myself, what if we could automate the crop checking process so farmers can have more time solving problems rather than finding them. And that's where the idea for Druid was born. Farmers generally have to work most of their lives in order to make their farm and their livelihood work throughout their careers. And it just didn't seem fair that any of these modern careers, they have all these access to modern technologies and farmers don't. And we see it as, with working with Druid and all of our partners, we can provide farmers with all those tools and technologies, and this way we can bring in a new age of agriculture and make farms significantly more productive. So we've had 7 pilots up till this point. We've had a variety of partners, including Microsoft, many universities, and we've won pitch competitions in North Carolina. We've won $30,000 in pitch money, and we've also won some grants as well. Genera has been incredibly influential. We've been able to make partnerships and find new opportunities within a few weeks that would have taken us years otherwise. So thanks to Generator, we're going to be able to grow significantly faster, and it's going to make us a much more comprehensive and better opportunity. There's a lot of collaborative opportunities, a lot of collaboration between all the startups, and that's an extremely powerful thing, and that's truly a special thing, especially in the investment world.
All right, that's Druid Ag, and let's welcome their founder live from Charlotte, North Carolina, Julian Walker, to the stage. Hey, Julian, how are you?
Hey, y'all. Good morning.
Morning.
So we've seen your video, and I'm gonna pick on Carly. She hasn't gone first in a bit. So, Carly, got any questions for Julian about what Druid's up to?
Yeah. So great presentation, really clear, good energy. It was a nice mix of getting the data and story, but also getting to see your personality, which I think is really important to get to know the founder. I guess one question I have, and I don't have a lot of experience with this vertical farming industry, but my understanding is the economics are pretty tough. Just production's really expensive. They spend a lot of money to have these vertical farms. So do you have any data on how much money it is to implement your software, your product, and then how much they save kind of to justify that cost?
Yeah. So, first of all, I would like to say that vertical farming is, just one type of indoor farming, and there's many different styles. There's aquaponics, there's hydroponics, and there's greenhouses, right? And so vertical farming is one of the newer types of farms that have come out, and there have been a lot of advancements in that space. So now, our product can basically, address all those different types of farms. It's not just vertical farming, it's greenhouses, it's aquaponics, all different types. And so, across the board, we've been able to see that, our devices have been able to, increase crop retention in these farms. There's all sorts of problems in, these types of farms. There's, mold, there's pests, there's irrigation issues that you have to check, there's crop health issues. So on average, we're looking at around, 10 to 15% more retention with the devices installed in the farms. So it's more about, the ability to manage those issues that come across rather than, the type of farm that you're working in. So hope that helps.
Yeah, I think it's just helpful to hear some of the numbers because just get a sense of why they should work with you other than just it creates more product. Like the actual numbers are helpful.
Oh, yeah. So I was going to say that, it's important because for a farmer, even a 5-7% increase is impactful, because the margins in farming are so small. So, any increase in retention where they can get more out of the land that they're growing on or the building that they're growing in, that leads to a lot more revenue for the farmer down the line if they're able to retain more of their crops. So just that alone is going to help farmers be able to manage their farm more effectively and, get more value out of the work that they're doing on the farm.
Thank you.
Zakiya, fire away.
Yes, Julian. Hi. Thank you. Really good presentation. I really like your founder story when you talked about how you were a banker and then someone told you essentially we needed 70% more food by 2050. I personally enjoy food. I enjoy, fresh food. And so I love that you took on this problem head first to help us to achieve that goal. So question for you. I believe I heard you say that you have 7 pilots so far. Could you talk a little bit about the pilots that you received? I'm interested to know, who those are for, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure. And I'd love to say first that I love food too. It's kind of why I got into this. And we find a lot of different types of people who, love food as well. That could be farmers, that could be, university researchers, that could be other startups that are, doing different types of projects. And that interview was a while ago. We actually are now at 15 pilots. So we're at around double the pilots now that we have going on. So, those are, universities, startups, in different places. Like we said, we work with Microsoft as well. So some larger corporate partners that we have. So, few universities coming on. Virginia State is one, App State, the University of Augusta down in Georgia. So, we're working with a lot of different types of universities. It's not just land grants. It's people who are doing, impactful research in different places too. And then we also have other startups who are, want us to, going back to what Carly was talking about, take our devices and, use it to optimize their indoor vertical farms or, improve their greenhouses and so on. So, we have use cases in research and in farming and in education. So it's a wide breadth.
Okay. And one more follow-up. It sounds, what I heard, because you went a little bit, what I heard was mostly university pilots. Are these paid pilots?
Yeah, they're all paid.
The pilots are paid. All right, Greg, got a question for Julian?
Yeah, first comment is the same as Zakiya. I love the video and the presentation. Seems very professionally done. So I appreciated that. My grandparents on both sides were farmers. My dad still lives on my grandparents, actually my mom's parents' tobacco farm is now converted to like a corn and just a big garden. Then my dad's side was peanut and cotton farms in eastern North Carolina. So really appreciate it. Kind of resonates with me. One question is a follow up to Carly's question, where you quantify this 10 to 15% retention. Is there a way to quantify that into dollars? Like how do I view that from a dollars perspective? That 10 to 15%.
Okay, so let's say if you're growing on, let's say, a few plots of land, let's say 10 acres, and you're growing melons, for example. So if you're growing that much, and let's say you put one of our weather stations out on your plot, our weather stations can, they're able to cover about 20 acres of land. And so, if you have, let's say, 100 acres, then if you have 5 weather stations, that will cover all the land. So let's say if you're able to, know exactly when it's raining on your land, even if you're away at, the store or, at, your kids' dance recital or whatever, you're going to be able to know what problems are going on the farm and be able to know what those issues are. So if it's like a irrigation issue, or if there's a crop health issue somewhere on the land that we can detect, then that's going to lead to crop retention down the line. And that's kind of where the 10% comes in. Being able to make that decision on, which plots of land need extra water, extra fertilizer, and knowing when to make those critical decisions on the farm. So, that leads to, let's say if you're making, 50 to 75K per, harvest on a farm, that could go up to, 80 to 90K per harvest, because you're able to bring in more crops on your land and be to know when to mitigate those problems as soon as they happen. So that's kind of where we can help that crop retention rate for farmers.
Last question, Carly, fire away.
Okay. So are most of the farmers that you're talking to already using some sort of advanced technology to do any of these things, or are you kind of going in and introducing a whole new process for them?
Yeah, so there are some farmers who might use, some apps about, as much as they usually have in most cases. But for, any advanced precision ag tools like this, it's generally not much more expensive for farmers to access. And that's basically why why we started building this company, because most farmers were not able to access, the precision ag tools that have, hyperspectral, lenses and ultraviolet indexes, complicated terms that most farmers just don't even use on the farm at any given time. We basically figured out that, this is our flagship device. So we basically figured out that farmers generally are only looking for, regular color images, infrared, and some night vision capability, so they can see what's going on at the farm at 24/7. And so with that, we're going to be able to, detect 95% of what issues farmers actually are looking for with, very cost-effective, affordable technology compared to everything else out in the market. So that's basically why we got into this, and why we're bringing this technology to farmers across the South and across the country, in other countries.
Thanks, Julian. Our next contestant is Marla Amplifiers. Let's roll the video.
What's up, Tweeners? I'm Anthony from Marla Amplification. Welcome to my shop. I'm about to take last week's 5-minute presentation and squish it down to about 2.5 minutes so I can elaborate on use of funds if I were to win this March Madness competition. When I win this March Madness competition. All right, bam, my industry. Let's talk about it. We've seen about 250 to 300% inflation over the last 2 decades. That's crazy. On top of that, we've seen about 70% of manufacturing move to overseas.
we've seen failure rates about triple across the board. All the while, my customers have not seen a single penny increase on average for the gigs they play or for their salaries as a musician. So it's becoming more costly to keep the arts alive in the communities like yours. So our mission here at Marla Amplification, well, we build high quality, low cost guitar amplifiers designed not only to meet the everyday demands of the gigging musician, but to meet their budget. We're not building toys and selling gimmicks. This is real deal, top quality goods built to last a lifetime. So let's talk about who our end users are, who the customers are. First and foremost, shout out to Nick. Nick is a full-time guitar instructor. He plays out on the weekend for supplemental income. Nick is a workhorse of a musician, and he needs a product that is just as much of a workhorse. Also on this page, you'll notice Jeff. Jeff is a gigging musician on the weekends with his band, very creative, passionate player. He wants a sound quality that's going to stand out and above all of his peers, so people remember his shows more than others. And that's why Jeff chooses Marla Amplification. About 10% of our customer base are full-time touring musicians, studio guitarists, Grammy-nominated artists, adding a lot of value to the brand that is Marla Amps. And because of our low price point, about 20% of our customers are made up by new guitar players. There is a lot of these customer types out in the globe. They make up a $3.4 billion industry for amps alone. Guitar pedals, a little bit higher, $3.6 billion across the globe. 20% amp demand lives here. About 24% of pedal demand lives here in the US. 8% of guitar playing customers buy amplifiers between $800 and $1,500. This is where all of our products live. We want to speak to the largest portion of customers possible. So what else are you going to find in our price tier? Nothing made in America. Everything else is going to be manufactured, mass-produced, overseas, with the cheapest components possible, and those products have a guaranteed lifespan. They will fail on you in single-digit years. Marla Amps will outlive myself, my customers. You guys watching this video, so sorry. These things are going to last a lifetime. Q1 already, we've exceeded $140,000 in gross sales. It's been a great year, and we are growing at about a 5% rate month over month. This is something that a lot of companies will be happy with year over year. We are actually staying pretty darn conservative with that. We want to make sure our cash flow is stronger than our growth, so we're always in a good spot to pull on different marketing and sales initiatives when we need to ensure that steady growth. With this prize money from the Tweener Fund, you could take us from $600,000 to $1.1 to $1.2 million by the end of the year. I want to tell you how the Tweener Fund is going to have a massive impact on Marla Amplification. Well, first and foremost, you're going to pave the way for 2 new employees to come on board. That's 2 people that I can train within 1 week on how to build the Marla Amp way. The second week, I can do just light oversight, fix any stucks or issues, make sure things are moving smoothly, and then I can really focus on my highest and best use. And what is that? That's dealer expansion. That's networking and setting up this company for long-term success. I need to find Marla Amps dealers across the US to make us more accessible. Accessibility, communal impact, that's the Marla ethos right there. Part of that is pricing. The other part is meeting customers where they are. Having this freed up time to create this additional demand with dealers, it is going to pave the way for additional employees. So this 25K is going to have a bit of a snowball effect, and it's going to skyrocket us into the future. Now, on top of that, I want you to know, especially since you're an investment group, anytime I've received an investment, aka the NC Idea grant, I've taken those funds, cycled them into business development and sales and marketing strategies, operational facilities, expansion, and I've used those funds to create additional revenue. And then I've set money aside in a money marketing account that reflect the amount of money that's come in plus interest. That way I can get in the habit of paying back any kind of VC funding or anybody that wants to invest in Marla Amplification in the long term. Look, I'm a huge fan of Druid Agriculture. You guys are awesome. I like what you're doing. I just hope that if they beat me out, they go all the way, and I really hope that this 25K can help them as much as it can help Marla Amplification in our community. Thank you so much. See you in a second.
All right, that is Marla Amplification, and let's bring to the stage CEO and founder Anthony Hernandez. Hey, Anthony.
CEO, that's too official. You got
Chief Rock Officer, Rock Out Officer, CRO.
Vice President of doing about everything is what I call it. You know.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Doing good. Enjoyed the updated video. You made a lot of changes based on feedback, so that's good. That shows you're coachable and you're listening to what the judges are telling you. Always good. let's see. I don't know who wants to. I'll start with Zakiya. She probably has the most music background, but I don't know. Greg's like so multi-talented. He probably plays 3 instruments or something I don't know about. But go ahead, Zakiya. Let's jump in.
Yeah, happy to start. Anthony, thank you so much for the pitch. I'm definitely a sucker for like energy, and I have a background in arts and entertainment. We'll talk about that later, but sucker for energy and like, all the things. So thank you for that. You made it very clear. And I love that you gave us visuals. Like, for example, you knew your financials very well. You gave us those visuals. You were not afraid to go there. And so keep doing that, because I think sometimes when you're in a space, like the space that you're in, right? Hardware for these, guitar parts, sometimes people who have that knowledge sets shy away from like the financials and some of the business model stuff. So keep pushing in that direction, because you need to know your audience, and we care about it. So good. Okay. Quick question for you. Could you talk to me about how you're using technology to move faster, more efficiently, et cetera, et cetera? Are you beginning to embed technology in your company? And if so, how are you doing that in a meaningful way?
Yeah, there's a few answers to this. First and foremost, everything I build is based around 1940s technology. So the only thing I can do is identify new tools to use to build at a faster rate from the operational standpoint. But from the commercial side, a lot of the technology that is used is in geo-targeting customers, especially when I bring on new dealers. It's in speaking to the correct audience, which I referenced the NC Idea grant. One huge thing that the NC Idea grant did for me was tell me how to best market, lifting up social media influencers to spread word about the brand, or at least paint and the picture of the value that you're getting when you purchase from Marla Amps, using Google Ad spend to correctly label and tag Marla Amps products in the brand and get our ethos across in a 5-letter kind of search engine or a 5-word search engine, something that's going to grab people's attention, using technology and even some AI to streamline those quick, rapid pitches or SEO titles. That's helped Marla bring a bunch of customers into the Marla world. They get to see these videos that other people have posted on the quality, the sound, the multi-uses, and then that gets kind of baked into our retargeting campaigns and going back after customers who have heard about us and haven't purchased yet. So a lot of technology is on the commercial side and converting customers and potential customers. But from the manufacturing side, it's usually baked into tools for production, tools for sourcing and scheduling orders, and not in the actual tooling of the products. And that's a big thing for our market as well. We love competition. A lot of our competitors are like the Tesla of our industry. A lot of technology built into them, higher failure rates. Granted, those don't run over people. They are seen as like a new generation. Some people don't like that. So I leverage our story of staying true to handcrafted, handmade, and that competition fuels our growth. And we're like the 67 Camaro that's on a drag strip racing against a Tesla. I think a lot of people, we're the head turners. I'll put it that way. So
nice.
Classic.
Thank
text.
you.
Sorry about that ramble.
Well, it's fine. Thank you.
Carly?
Thanks, Carly.
Yeah. Oh, well, nice to meet you. Thank you for the time. It was an awesome pitch. I guess one question I have is, have you thought through, I know you're going to hire 2 new employees with the money, but as the demand grows, kind of how do you balance scaling production while maintaining that still like boutique handmade quality? Is that something that you've thought through yet?
Yes. And that was a question from last one too, about like, where's my stopgap to say like, I'm no longer a kind of small shop. Purchasing Marla Amps is a little bit of you're in like an exclusive club when you buy something from Marla Amps versus something you can buy off the shelf at any big box retailer or mom and pop shop. So yeah, there's a stopgap, but as we start to bring on people, there's 2 things that'll happen. Number one, I really believe in running lean and running mean. I really believe in people development and having people wearing multiple hats. Like I'm wearing 20 now. one thing you'll see in the slide is like the next employee that I'm going to bring on for production is somebody who has way more production experience than I do. And so offloading a lot of the scheduling, the sourcing, kind of order fulfillment, and all the practices of taking things from picking and packing all the way out to shipping, I can start to unload all of that. And so as we are developing out more and more people, everybody's jobs becomes more streamlined. We can offload more and more and kind of keep training baked into the operational ethos of Marla Amps. It's on like our internal team and not necessarily the external ethos.
Thank you.
Yeah. Greg, you seem very pensive. What are you thinking about?
I think about a lot of different things, but especially El Jefe. I saw is El Jefe, the boss. The my wife's family's from Costa Rica, so we speak a lot of Spanish in the house, and so I always call my son Jefe, and he's only 7. But the my question is about, so it sounds like you're using a lot of technology from a go-to-market perspective. Well, first of all, I love the personality and the communication, right? And to, I think, I don't know if it was Zakiya saying, but the visuals and kind of breaking that down. My question is around, so, and excuse me if I missed this, but from an e-commerce perspective, is this a D2C model or a B2B? I know you have these dealers, but if I wanted to buy, like I'm looking on the site and I'm saying add to cart, right? Is this a D2C model as well?
I really don't want it to be a D2C model. I have to start as a D2C model. I really am focused on, when I go back to communal impact, one thing that's like wrecked our industry was the pandemic. Demand skyrocketed 400% across the board. I was at Moog Music at that time. We saw that demand just skyrocket. A lot of people outfitted their business to keep up with that demand. And then when all the musicians stopped getting that $2,000 stimulus check or stopped spending it, demand just plummeted. Everybody had tons of stock. The used market got just overfilled with product. And it really kind of wreaked havoc on a lot of manufacturers and dealers who were holding onto a lot of stock that wasn't selling. So as some dealers have kind of in our industry have closed up shop, I think it's the right time for companies to start putting a special emphasis on what makes our industry great. And that's the fact that you can still walk into a music store, test out an instrument, test drive it, and then go home with it if it's the right thing for you. I really want Marla Amps to be a B2B platform more than anything. I still want to have the personality that our customers see for all of our associates, but I want them to think of their local music store as a place to purchase our products, because it makes our industry way healthier than it currently is. So
what is just one follow-up, what is the one way that this NC Tweener fund could help you break into the B2B market more?
Yeah. So what my game plan is to onboard people within those first 2 weeks, make sure operations are running smoothly. Tuesdays to Thursdays, I've kind of mapped this out down to the T on what flights cost and when I need to purchase tickets to save the most money to make this fund go as far as possible. But hitting places like Portland and Seattle on a Wednesday, Thursday, red eye back, hitting San Fran, Los Angeles, San Diego, finding, three dealers in the Northwest, 5 dealers in California, hitting Texas, Houston, Austin, Dallas. Austin's a huge music city, very influential for the rest of the economy. Hitting those places on a weekly basis, that's going to just convert dealers, especially when I can show up with product, give them this same spiel about how we're going to change our industry and we're going to provide better products for their customers. That's going to just really kind of uplift demand and create a lot of immediate revenue that's going to help me continue to pay them after these funds run out.
Cool. Anyone have one last quick question? Zakiya, looks like you got one on the tip of your tongue.
I do, like you do. I have like 3 quick questions, but I'm going to do one. Oh, okay. So first I'll make a statement, then I'll ask a question. I'm not sure who the market leader is in this space, but make sure you know who they are and try to find out as much about their numbers as possible. Okay. Just throw that out there. But do you know what your win rate is? If you had to guess, or if you have that information when you go out to talk to whomever, we can start with B2C. I don't know if you started talking to dealers, whomever, but what is your win rate? And if people would say no to you, why would they say no?
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'll answer your first question. My biggest competitor is Fender Musical Instruments. Fender's going through an identity crisis. They just spent millions of dollars to buy the likeness of Fender back from GNL so they can have this iconic face to put with the company. It's a really big play that a lot of people are doing. A lot of musicians, they don't care about brand names, legacy names anymore. They care about the people behind the product. So you're seeing this big shift to independent, small builders, manufacturers. Fender spends 20 to 30K a day on Google ads. I spend up to $100 every day. And that's why I have to bake in so much AI and new tech into the way that I try to target customers that are searching for products. Win rate with dealers. I beta tested this with a sales rep in North Carolina, actually out of Burlington, North Carolina. And our win rate with new dealers is around 60%. So you'll see there's a high concentrated amount of dealers in North Carolina. That's because of this beta test that is going to help me kind of expand throughout the US. And then your third question or third part of that question, win rate with customers, conversion rate online for the website is about 4%. Our largest e-com dealer in the US is Sweetwater. Their conversion rate's about 1.9. So I feel like I'm doing pretty good there. There's always room to improve. And we're doing a few things to beef up the website to make it to where customers can come in, design their own colorways and products, and either hit add to cart or say, buy from this dealer. And that will send a printout to the dealer saying, order this for this customer. Here's a contact information, get their money, and get them with Marla.
And why are people saying no? Why do people say no to you?
New things are scary. Doing things different are scary. You know, stepping away from a typical watch to an Apple Watch it's scary. I don't know. Yeah.
So is there something intrinsically different, right? So help me just real quick. They're saying no, they're uncomfortable with something.
Yeah. A lot of people believe it's too good to be true. A lot of our builders in the US build something that is the most immaculate product in the world, and then the price follows. I look at what are people spending. I want to build the best thing for that price tier, and the finished product is something just amazing that beats out everything in its price point. But that's still that giant price separation for American products can make things seem too good to be true. And this is it's a common anecdote that market influencers, reviewers have at the beginning of every kind of like, hey, this is a new product I'm showcasing today. I thought this was going to be good to be true, but holy guacamole, it is phenomenal. So
awesome. Thanks, Anthony. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but really appreciate your spirit and you're investing a lot of time and effort into this process, which we appreciate as well. Thanks.
Definitely. Thanks, y'all. Have a great day.
Bye. All right. So to recap, we have two very different companies. We've got Marla Amplification out of Asheville. They've created a old school, but with new manufacturing technologies and new go-to-market strategy, made in America amplifier for guitar enthusiasts, and is going to work on pedals and some other things. And then we have Druid Ag, which is out there revolutionizing farms. So two very different things that we're dealing with, but they do touch the physical world, which I guess is one commonality, but one is consumer through B2B to C, and then the other one is more of a traditional B2B. So this is where we make the big bucks. Last time we put Greg on the spot by going last, so I'm going to ease up on the pain on him so he doesn't get in that situation twice. And we'll start with him. Greg, what are you thinking on these two? I will note that both of them talked about TAM, so that was I know that was a hot spot for you in the first round.
Yeah, no, that was good. And this one, it's so tough. I think that I did play the saxophone as a kid, Scott. So
I had an idea. Yeah,
I was first chair at alto sax, but then I was played two sports, so I couldn't do that. But
you're such a Renaissance person. Every time I spend 10 minutes with you, I learn 6 new things that you do.
That's a fair point.
Keep up with it. Farming, I was like in my head, I was like, watch this.
You didn't have your bingo card?
Greg's going to be connected to farms. Sure enough, you're like, well, we got 6 farms in my family and soybeans, cotton, corn, whatever it is. Greg's got it.
I got my degree from North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, right? And so, and I think that probably is, I think that there's a lot of traction that Julie and the team have already gotten. I'm looking at their site, and I'm assuming the site is correct. They have a patent that's already been approved for the technology. The problem and the TAM is just going to be massive and continue to be a challenge. So I'm leaning significantly towards the Druid from an ag perspective. I love the anti-trend of the amplifiers. I love that. I just don't see the addressable market being massive enough, and the kind of the physical aspect of it and inventory and all of the other things just seem to be a big challenge for me.
Okay. Cool. Carly's new, so I'm going to let her go in the middle here. So Zakiya's a pro. She doesn't mind.
That's so kind of you.
Picking up the potential tie breaking vote. Let's see. Or maybe Carly will give you some relief and you'll be out of it. We'll see. Carly, what are you thinking?
Okay. So I really liked the Marla pitch. I think especially talking about meeting the demands of musicians when the price of doing business is going up. And he put on the thread of just having new people entering the market that now can afford to be musicians. But I do get a little hesitant when there's the manufacturing component to kind of the exact market and then competing on price, and then worrying about the founder-led sales having to go right now B2C and then hoping to pivot more B2B. And so I think I'm going to go with Druid Ag just because I think the food scarcity problem is huge and that market is massive. And so I think there's just real savings there. And especially if he can quantify that into time and dollars, especially in his pitch and he has traction, I think that's why I would go with that one.
Got it. Zakiya, what are you thinking?
All right. So yes, let me start with Marla Amplification. Man, listen, this founder has got something, right? Like, we talk about the jockey and the horse. I love his passion in this space. I think his go-to-market strategy is going to be a tough one, but I appreciate the effort, right? He's going to go out there, hit the pavement, talk to the distributors, love that, right? And I think if the direction of the world is leaning towards more, in-person conversations, I think he's onto something there, particularly in arts and entertainment. There is this let's get back to the original, how it used to be. And of course, it's made in America. So all those things are fantastic. So I think he's going to be just fine. As far as Druid Ag is concerned, love that they're out there already. Getting those pilots, they have those use cases, and the more pilots you get, paid pilots, the more, kind of traction you're able to show new potential customers. And so, I like the work they're doing as well. So not that there's a tie. So, but I'm going to go with Druid Ag.
Great. So, clean sweep for Druid, but I think we all really respect, the Marla Amplifier founder is super passionate about, kind of bringing manufacturing to North Carolina, a lot of things we all support. So this is why it's really hard. You got to kind of come down to these little nuances when you pick these things. So first want to thank the founders, all 4 founders for coming on today. It takes a lot of guts to kind of put yourself out there like they have. And congrats to Ham and to Druid for moving on to our championship. And then I want to thank our judges. So Carly, Zakiya, and Greg, appreciate you guys, donating a couple hours of your time to help share your thoughts here. Always enjoy the conversation with you guys and really appreciate everything you do for our ecosystem. Thanks for taking the time today.